Your Denver Broncos are suddenly at the center of major trade rumors, not just whispers on social media, but reports from trusted journalists with direct NFL connections. Today, we're breaking down which players could realistically be on the Broncos' radar before the trade deadline, and why these moves could be game changers as the Cowboys come to town. Right now, Denver sits at 5-2, and both of the games they've lost came down to the final seconds. These narrow defeats show one thing: the Broncos are built to compete deep into the playoffs. That's why teams and fans alike are watching every potential roster move closely. Midway through all this buzz, let's pause for a quick reminder: if you love Broncos football, hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to tap the bell so you never miss an update. Share this video with your friends and get them hyped too. Every Broncos fan deserves to be in the know. Back to the trade talk. Wide receivers are in high demand, and some of the league's most talented pass catchers are reportedly frustrated with their current situations. One name that keeps popping up: Brian Thomas Jr., the 23rd overall pick from LSU, currently with the Jaguars. Unlike pursuing an established veteran who comes with a hefty contract, Thomas is young, talented, and still on the early years of his rookie deal. Yes, he's struggled with drops this season, but a fresh start in Denver could unlock his full potential. Leaving a team like Jacksonville, which has struggled to build around him, could allow Thomas to shine. And when you consider what he can do after the catch, something the Broncos have been missing, he could be a true game changer. Sources close to Broncos management confirm that calls are being made about both wide receivers and tight ends. This isn't speculation. The front office is actively exploring moves that could elevate this team's playoff chances. A trade here could reshape the offense, adding explosive playmaking talent when it matters most. Troy Franklin has a lot of potential, and while he's the same age as Brian Thomas, Thomas made an immediate impact. Franklin could still have his breakout moment, and the Broncos would be wise to explore that possibility. As a first-round pick last year, he carries serious upside, but the Jaguars won't part with him cheaply. A second-round pick might not be enough. It could take a first-rounder plus a player or two. Jacksonville needs defenders and depth at multiple positions, so a trade could make sense for both sides. Imagine the Broncos sending a third-round pick and a player like Chris Abrams, who's ready to fight for playing time, in exchange for a game-changing wide receiver or tight end. The impact? Absolutely electric. Any move like this would ignite the fanbase and take the Broncos' offense to a new level. All across major media, the reports are consistent: the Jaguars are shopping Franklin, and the Broncos are actively making calls about wide receivers and tight ends. And speaking of tight ends, the one that would truly get Broncos fans buzzing? David Njoku. He was a target during free agency, and there's still reason to believe in his potential. While Evan Ingram has promise, adding Njoku would be a massive upgrade, someone who can immediately change the game. The motivation to acquire a player like this is simple: Russell Bonix is the real deal. Despite a slow start and heartbreaking losses to the Chargers and Colts, his consistency is undeniable. Bonix has thrown a touchdown in 15 consecutive games, joining elite company in NFL history. Since Week 4 of last season, he's thrown more touchdown passes than even Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert. On top of that, he's led more fourth-quarter comebacks than Mahomes over the same span. With a quarterback like Bonix leading the way, adding explosive weapons like Brian Thomas, Troy Franklin, or David Njoku could elevate this team into a legitimate playoff contender. The past 4 Broncos wins have shown that this offense can compete at the highest level. Now it's about giving Bonix the talent to take it even further. Sean Payton has said it, and it's becoming increasingly clear: Russell Bonix could be one of the best quarterbacks in the league over the next few years. You don't need to wait to see it, his numbers are speaking for themselves. Over the past 4 games, Bonix ranks 8th in quarterback rating, even against elite defenses like the Philadelphia Eagles. He's thrown for over 1,000 yards in just 4 games with a 78% adjusted completion rate, which accounts for drops and other factors. This is why the Broncos are in a position to make bold moves right now. With a quarterback playing at an elite level, combined with arguably the best defense in football, Denver has all the pieces in place for a deep playoff run. The team's health, preparation, and balance on both sides of the ball make them a legitimate threat to any opponent. Look at how the Broncos approach the preseason. Unlike many teams that rest players or rely on experimental coaching strategies, Denver went full throttle, ensuring every player participated fully in practice. That level of preparation pays dividends once the regular season hits, and it's a huge part of why the Broncos are so strong, year after year. Now, the Cowboys are coming to town with one of the hottest offenses in the league. But Denver has shown time and again that their combination of elite coaching, a top-tier defense, and a quarterback firing on all cylinders makes them ready to compete with anyone. The stage is set, the team is healthy, and the fans are hungry. The Broncos are not just playing for wins, they're playing for playoff glory. When you look around the league, no team has had the same level of health and consistency as the Denver Broncos this season. Sure, Ben Powers is on injured reserve, which is a big loss, but other key pieces like Jonah Ellis are back, adding crucial depth to the defensive line and special teams. Compare that to the Dallas Cowboys, half their roster seems to be on the injury report. Their top cornerback, Trayvon Diggs, is out with a concussion. Multiple other defensive backs and linebackers are banged up, while several offensive linemen, including BB and Tyler Gayton, are questionable. Even if they suit up, they won't be at full strength. This contrast highlights just how impressive Sean Payton's management has been in keeping Denver healthy throughout the season. Looking at salary cap commitments to injured reserve, the Broncos are near the bottom of the league, most of it tied up in Ben Powers, who is expected back by December. Compare that to teams like San Francisco, who have nearly $100 million on long-term IR with many players unlikely to return. That health translates directly to performance. The Broncos' offensive line has been dominant, especially against elite pass rushers. Garrett Bowles, for example, has consistently protected Russell Bonix against some of the league's toughest front fours. Watching him handle pressure from players like Abdul Carter and Dexter Lawrence while keeping Bonix safe has been nothing short of inspiring. All of this adds up to a team that is not only healthy but performing at a high level across the board. The Broncos' depth, preparation, and execution put them in a prime position to compete against anyone, and fans have every reason to be excited as the season moves forward. Some fans are cautious heading into the Cowboys game, pointing to Dallas as one of the league's top offenses. But let's not forget Denver's history. When elite offenses face elite defenses, it's the defense that often dictates the outcome. Defense wins championships, and the Broncos have one of the best units in football. Even without Dre Greenlaw, the Broncos' defensive depth and preparation make them a formidable challenge. Denver's record against high-powered offenses, coupled with their home field advantage at 5,280 feet above sea level, gives them a unique edge. The Cowboys' speed and rhythm will be disrupted by the altitude and the Broncos' relentless pass rush. Expect Dak Prescott to be contained, and don't be surprised if Javonte Williams' rushing output is limited despite his return. This is a team built to compete in big moments, and when they play at their best, Denver can dominate any opponent. The pieces are in place, the talent is ready, and the fans have every reason to believe the Broncos are primed for a statement win.